So, the beta has arrived and you've either been playing already, or you're just about to jump into the action today or tomorrow when the beta opens up fully. Since I've been playing for a few days now, I thought I'd give you all an overview of Orbital and each of the different sectors. Let's start with the two smallest sectors, Alpha and Fox. So Sector A is the closest sector to the Russian spawn point. It sits atop a hill, kind of like a natural crest. It's got a road passing from the Russian spawn point straight through towards the centre of the map. It's quite easily defensible, seeing as it's on top of a hill with fences all around it. However, there is quite a heavily forested area to the sides, so watch out for people sneaking in from those areas. Inside you'll find two warehouse buildings and one radar station unit. The radar unit, it's not really passable terrain, but it fills up the space a little bit. Now a lot of the action's going to be around these side areas in the trees here. You're going to find a lot of enemies trying to sneak in, so be aware of those and maybe scout around the bushes every once in a while or pick off a squad or two. Now it might seem like a quiet corner, but since Battlefield is now 128 players, if you're on next gen, you'll find that there's quite a lot of activity around these little back areas. Now, Sector Fox is on the American side of the map. It's obviously the closest to the American spawn point, and this one's a bit of the opposite to the last one, in that it's in a bit of a valley here, so you'll find that you're shooting out of it looking up quite a lot. Now there's a radio tower in this sector which you can of course rappel up with the various ropes that are available to you. So other than the radio tower, there is just the one warehouse building to look after. You can help yourself out by getting up on the roof of it and getting behind those square air conditioning ducting units to give yourself a bit of cover while you pick off any enemies that may be coming down those hills towards the sector. Quite easy to defend. You are a bit vulnerable from the air on this one because you're sort of in a bowl if you like, but other than that, pretty easy. Now, next up we have Sector Bravo, which is the rooftop here of this large rocket hangar. The rocket hangar itself is quite a complex building, we'll have a look at that in a second, but the rooftop itself is quite huge. You wouldn't think it was so big from the distance you look at it. Now, you'll find a lot of people parachuting in, you'll get a lot of helicopters, so really it's not that great to kind of hang around on top unless you're equipped to deal with vehicles. If you are finding yourself under attack there quite a lot, make sure to keep quite a few guys up there. A trick to get to the top quickly if you don't want to go through the hangar. Round the back there's these two rappel lines, you can go up those. It saves you quite a bit of time going through the building itself. However, often those are going to be guarded, so that's when going inside comes into play. As you can see, you've got a spare rocket being built here. Now, just over here on the left, we have the elevator entrances. As you can see over in the distance, there's another Repel Point, and there's various sets of stairs that lead up to different platforms, as you can see here. Lots of vantage points, lots of places to get shot from. Now the final part of this, you can see there's the Repel Point up from the bottom. We can rappel up here. It's quite far. Up we go. Look at that. See what I mean by this is very large. Now up in here, you can see over there the entrances to the elevators from the top. This is it again from the bottom. I'm going in on the opposite side, of course. Up we go. Doors open. And here we are, same bit, and that leaves you with just one final staircase to go up, and then you're on the roof, on the lower level. Next up we got Sector Charlie. This one is like a cryogenic storage area. I'm guessing it's something to do with the rocket fuel and the storage of that, but all these containers store cryogenic fuel. There's a weird effect actually when you run in between them. You can see the cryogenic gas there coming off. And this is made up of two sectors, so it's a bit different than the last one. There's actually two capture points. C1, which we are at now. And then you can see across the way there where the tower is, there's C2. This sector is probably one of the most versatile as far as engagement distances go. As you can see, we've got a lot of open areas. We've got a tower, which encourages long-range gunplay. But then we've also got a lot of jungle and a lot of close-up areas, which remind me of Noshar Canals a little bit. So you can get up close and personal with your SMGs and your shotguns maybe. After 2 days of playing, I would say that this sector is probably the most heavily contested, so be careful when you jump in there. Okay, so now we've got to Sector Echo. This is the rocket itself and the tower from which it is launched from. You've also got a large area underneath and to the sides. You can kind of see it in the picture there. These weird little sticky uppy bits made of concrete. That's to direct the rocket jet away from the ground. Let's go up the tower and have a look. You can either go up this elevator, or of course there's a set of stairs that runs all the way up the tower to the top. You've got these little escape zip lines here. If anyone's watched Men in Black 3, you'll be familiar with those. Up we go to the top. Now there's a zip line across from one of these two little side towers here. You've got to be a bit careful because enemies can sneak up on you. Yeah, that's the one without the zip line. So we're just going to show an example now. We can rappel up to the top of this tower here. And then, without too much effort at all, hop up, zip along. And if you're not too careful, you'll find yourself a victim as I did just here. And that brings us to our final sector. Sector Delta. This sector is made up of 2 capture points, D1 and D2, and I think it's pretty much the largest sector on the map here. You can see it's got this large, very large in fact, open area in between the 2 points. Now each of these points is made up of various warehouse buildings, car parks, silos, and cryogenic storage tanks. And speaking of tanks, probably in this sector more than any other, you're going to get a lot of those rolling in. So be careful. Maybe arm yourself with a Gustav launcher just in case. But of course, that doesn't stop infantry from playing a major role here, so watch out. They'll be hiding everywhere in this sector. On the roofs, around the corners, in the bushes, you name it. There'll be infantry there, tanks, helicopters, the lot. This is probably the go-to sector for action. Just pointing out that little tunnel there. Now, crossing over between the 2 different flags, you can run across the middle of the map, across this rocket delivery ramp, like so. And maybe you'll get lucky like I did here. Maybe you'll run across, they won't be looking, you can take a few out and sneak in to the second flag. Or maybe you won't. Maybe you'll just get taken out by a sniper or a tank halfway across. You just don't know. So there is another way across, which we will take a look at now. It is this tunnel here, Tunnel 23. You'll find an entrance on either side, close to one of the buildings. There are lights in here which can be shot out, so you can see it's kind of dark. Tunnel's kind of long, so expect a lot of heavy fighting in there. Coming out either side, just be careful. Remember not to stand in those doorways, don't block other players. I've always found that the best thing you can do in these situations is not hesitate and just go straight out. Get out, find some cover, you'll probably be alright. Now while this isn't a sector, it's probably worthy of mention. This is a tunnel between C1 and D1, so it links sectors C and D together. This is great for getting vehicles between the 2 quickly, but also great for infantry to sneak between the 2. And that's it gamers, you're now all clued up on Orbital. Hope that was helpful for you. You should be able to find your way around the sectors quite easily now, and you should know what to expect as well. I'll leave you with a little clip of the tornado here. If you found this video useful, I'd ask that you tap that thumbs up button and maybe subscribe if you want more useful tips, information and gameplays from me. I'm Fun Guy, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.